Looking at the community, what can we do?
The coronavirus crisis has put the world on the brink of a hunger pandemic.
Everybody's hungry all the time.
They're rationing food. If this goes on much, much longer, then we could start to see actual starvation.
The only field of work that can never be stopped is agriculture. No matter what happens, people need to eat.
Southern trees,
This area that we're serving in Southeast is a food desert.
blood on the leaves.
Right here with Ethan Holmes, founder of Holmes mouth-watering applesauce, as well as Amanda Stevens, founder of the Fresh Farm Factory in Washington D.C. We're just getting some things set up on the live stream. Make sure that our Instagram audience is going to be able to tune in too. But today we're going to be discussing not only how each of these young Black entrepreneurs set up and develop their business models, but also looking at the current climate today and, their field of grocery retail, and looking at, how production chains and our interaction in grocery stores have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Just doing this quick edit on the stream key. Want to thank everybody who's coming in and supporting tonight. Truly appreciate your support. About to make sure the Instagram live crew can get on here. Okay, great. All right, yep. So we're here with Holmes Applesauce, Holmes Made Food founder and CEO, Ethan Holmes. Ethan, thank you so much for coming on the Blacklight today.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me and being able to, be a part of this opportunity. So, and share just my experience. So awesome. Thank you.
Of course, Ethan, definitely. I want to just, speak with you first about how you came not only to develop Holmes Made Foods, but your work in the Cleveland area, to inspire and develop young entrepreneurs.
Definitely. So I first created my product, my brand, Holmes Mouthwater and Applesauce, when I was 15 years old in 2008. And I had this huge dream of when I was a young kid of being an entrepreneur. And that started with raking leaves and shoveling snow for money, eventually giving me the courage and the confidence to actually create my own legitimate, product. At first, I had to learn how to make applesauce with my grandfather's instruction, and working hours in the kitchen and my mom's kitchen. I learned how to make the product. I then spent a year creating my own product, my own recipe. And then eventually we launched in the market in 2015. After years of just bootstrapping, going to college, and really just utilizing the resources around me. So that's a little bit of how we got started. In terms of Cleveland, the ties, we worked a lot with the youth, employing the youth for years since really 2014 in our internship program, the Holmes Entrepreneur Initiative. With this program, we give the students an opportunity to earn a stipend by working in grocery stores or doing sales within our company. So, thank you.
Of course, Ethan, and we were rolling some, some footage on my story and stuff like that, because I thought it really highlighted not only your journey, from like you said, when you really got into the market 2015, and really started taking off from there, but your work in the community. And you mentioned a little bit of your story, connecting with your grandfather and how that connecting over food. Were there any experiences in Cleveland, either with your family or with other students like yourself that showed you and highlighted the importance for you to do a food business?
At first it was always I think this energy that I wanted to do entrepreneurship, and I think a retail product manufacturing really fit with kind of my background. I'd like to create creativity is a big part of entrepreneurship. So that attribute really led me to saying, all right, I want to make a product. That I looked at the market and I realized that, specifically in the Midwest, like a place like Ohio, Cleveland, there's a great source of apples, but there's not a lot of applesauce companies. Specifically, you find a lot of manufacturing on the West Coast. So I had an opportunity to be a Black-owned manufacturer of applesauce located in a place like Cleveland, Ohio, which was new. We're the first to market on that, and it's been successful. So that, I think, was the biggest ties to Cleveland, and then being able to also get fresh products, fresh natural foods to people in impoverished neighborhoods that don't have access, food deserts. So those are some of the resources that we're able to, provide.
No, definitely. We're going to get into the food deserts and, right. And, how the country is really, in a position where we have several areas right now that, could be considered those in major cities. We're going to get into that with Amanda Stevens. But, in Cleveland, like you were noting, you were able to work young entrepreneurship and mentorship into your business model. Can you kind of break down when that happened and then, the success of any of the programs that you've developed?
Definitely. So when I first started, at the age of 15 to really launching in the market when I was about 21, I had several years of really just trial and error, learning how to balance a checkbook and just all those things that an entrepreneur has to go through, a lot of no's. And so through those experiences, I decided to create a program called the Holmes Entrepreneur Initiative. This basically there's different programming around this initiative. First, we did an internship where we allowed the students to come to our kitchen. They would help out with different activities and be part of the production of the applesauce. And by doing that, they would make $350 in a 2-week period. And this went on for the whole school year. From there, we then decided, okay, we're going to utilize the students in stores like Whole Foods or Giant Eagle or Heinen's, and put these students in stores, pay them a stipend, and allow them to be the face of the product. And that was a huge success for us, and it built confidence building skills for those students. So now we're in the stage where everything's virtual. It's back to school, so we're doing a lot of presentations. We just did a presentation yesterday for about 30 students, usually about 40-minute presentation on entrepreneurship. So again, we're really just trying to teach the youth about creating their own businesses and thinking with that entrepreneur mindset.
And I love that development piece, as you were saying, because that's what's so needed. Before we are gonna come back to you in a second and hop to Amanda. But before we go, Ethan, I want you to just really detail, for you as a business owner, what did you gain most from that experience working with other youth, and then, like you were noting, going back through your processes of teaching people, some of the struggles that you had to experience as a young entrepreneur.
Definitely. Throughout those experiences, what I think I learned was just that, the youth are our future, and there's some great people out here, some great children. And I've seen, young high school students grow into, hardworking employees within our company. I have a young man named Cavell Williams. He started off, I think it was actually his junior year in high school. And then he went through the program, went to Tri-C University, Tri-C College, and through that experience, he now works with us. So, it's really been, great. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. So you not only, were able to provide an opportunity for someone to join your business, but you were able to teach them entrepreneurship, and now he can take those tools and develop his own business.
Exactly.
Great. So we're going to come back to you, Ethan, and really explore how, because, you have students in actual grocery stores working, and you work with other retailers as a Black business owner. So we're going to come back to you about how you're being impacted by COVID-19, but we're about to go over to Amanda Stephenson. She is the founder, again, of the Fresh Food Factory in Washington, D.C., an urban farm. How are you doing, Amanda?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, and it's such a pleasure to connect with you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for putting me in the spotlight.
Of course. No, the black light,
Spotlight, black light. Yes.
Exactly. I went to school at Howard University, so I definitely am familiar with in the Southeast area, Anacostia. The need for resources there, specifically in the community. For us, to take care of our own community. So can you kind of talk about what led you to develop your business?
Sure.
Getting a little tongue twisted.
Oh, no problem. I think there were a couple things that actually led to it. I grew up on a farm in Virginia, and I moved to Anacostia in DC. So I'm a transplant, just coming here and just seeing some of what's needed, some of the lacking community, and how the messaging, how life needs to change, and how through we could be the change that we want to see. So I'm saying that to say, for instance, in growing up on a farm, I understood the importance of food. My father, at my age of 10, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he was given the prognosis of terminal cancer, like 6 months to a year to live. And he surpassed that by 18 years. So it was through his faith, food, his focus on those things, and really just changing his lifestyle, he was able to overcome. And I believe that a lot of people accept the narrative that you have cancer, you have diabetes, or this is terminal, and you subscribe to that, and then that fulfills itself because that's what you believe and that's what you subject yourself to, and you don't really see anything different. So I saw how he had transitioned, how his life was lengthened, how he made a lot of drastic changes. And if just people would actually hear, they could have hope. If they had more access, more opportunity, life would be a whole lot different. It will be greater, will be longer, they will be more successful. So there are a lot of opportunities through food. So people can extend their life if they're eating the right foods. And again, small businesses can extend their lives if they had the nutrition that they need. I say our businesses have been GMO. They have been genetically modified because we've been starved. We've been given that narrative of we're not going to be successful. We're not going to make it, whatever it may be, but it's up to us. We have to have the nutrients. We have to feed ourselves. We have to be that change that we want to see. So I had to do that in my community. Hey, let me just change the narrative. Let me be that change. Let me give more people access and opportunity through this food experience, healthy, ethnic, and local foods. Right now, I'm operating the market facet of this whole food hub that's called the Fresh Food Factory. The farming that we started a few years ago, as well as the kitchen space, I'm looking to revamp that. And where we were actually doing the growing and looking to have the kitchen be inside of shipping containers. They were pop-up to permanent solutions to food desert, food swamp communities, food apartheid, whatever we want to call it, still the same thing. These people have been suffering from the lack of better food, better food education. All of that is what we were looking to do and what I'm doing currently. So we're offering food access and food education and looking to activate our containers again, or to secure more space so we can have that whole food ecosystem again. So we have property in Baltimore, and we've been talking to a few other entities again in the city, DC proper, about activating shipping containers and having these kitchens, so we could actually have a lot of local purveyors to actually make a lot of product. I sell a lot of local products in the market, but a lot of the small or micro business or people from the community who make great things, they can't really afford the rents of another kitchen in another part of the city. They can't afford to package properly. So that leaves a lot of them out and they can't even enter. So we wanted to reduce those barriers of entry, or I wanted to create an opportunity for them to generate income and to put a great product out there. And the product is made healthier because we'll be growing fresh. So food sourcing, food tracing is an issue, but if we were growing it hyper local, if we are part of the process, learning how to grow, how to prepare, how to package, all of that, we could have a healthier community.
No doubt. And that's what I really see that you were fostering, you know, at your location. You know, you were doing interviews, one-on-one interviews with businesses who were in your store, you know, selling in your store. And as you were noting, I saw that you were providing classes. Were they cooking classes or some type of other opportunity for people to come through and partake in? right?
Yeah, we do a lot of food demonstrations. We have events called Ethnic Eats, giving people a chance to actually taste a lot of ethnic foods, taste the culture, taste the difference. A lot of foods from other countries, they have medicinal properties, but they're not in our diet usually. And when you go down other international food aisles and whatever grocery store, you won't see a lot of cultures represented, especially those of Africa and the Caribbean, some part of Central South America and Asia. But these foods have high medicinal properties, but that's what we afford in the community. So highlighting those foods, the ingredients, the importance of it, and how it could be used all of that is so important. It's one thing to have food, but the food education needs to be wrapped in with that. And again, the entrepreneurship, like the brother Ethan was mentioning, we do a lot as it relates to entrepreneurship. And that's my background, coming from the Small Business Development Center Network, and just making sure people have that knowledge is so important. Food education, that's important. That knowledge is important, but how to actually sell a product, put it on the market. But knowledge is great, but you still need that opportunity to actually sell that fare that you make. So we wanted to kind of have that one-stop shop, that place where people could get what they need to make sure that their life is extended, and then giving the small businesses the resources they need to make sure that their business life is extended. So that's some of what we're doing.
And I love that. And I love that active participation to not only, again, as Ethan was noting, develop other small businesses, but, be a leader in your community.
Right.
And that's what we're about to talk about now. We're about to bring Ethan back into the conversation. We thank you guys both for your time tonight. On the back end, it seems like I was just getting some notifications. We're having some issues with the viewership on Instagram and some of the formatting on Facebook. So, I will try to get another session with you guys and maybe do like a Zoom or something and have the promo. But the main critical reason, why I brought both of you business leaders here today is, COVID-19 right now is impacting not only the world, but our local communities and our resourcing to food and our ability to, stabilize our communities. Amanda, you were just talking about how you were providing opportunities for other business leaders like Ethan, who have these food products and looking to, provide it for our communities and, be a Black entrepreneur. But could you highlight maybe some of the complications right now that the COVID-19 pandemic has presented?
Sure. Just everywhere along the food chain, just really prior to the pandemic, sourcing has been a problem, especially sourcing minority Black businesses had been a problem because of the affordability. And sometimes when you're a market, you have to buy at a certain price range. Quantity to get it at a certain price range. So sometimes that can hamper a business like myself or other small businesses. So being able to go to a purveyor themselves who are like mine, who share vision. So he and we talked offline a little bit about getting his product into the market, but that's how the relationships are built. How can we actually source and support each other? And that should be the relationship had. So that's what we're forming. So historically, it has been a problem. COVID has made certain products that I had before harder to reach, or the prices have soared on certain things, or no longer available. I've been seeing on certain things too. So to me, that's why it's really important to go back to my roots of actually growing a lot of the things and controlling and making my own products so I can have a lot of things accessible. And also too, things to boost your immunity right now. That's really important. A lot of us are eating to have something to eat. We need to eat to live. We don't really need to eat in abundance, for one. Two, we can't just eat anything because every body is different and every body responds differently to what we're ingesting. And we need to know that. That's really important. So part of what we do is educate at that level, but also to make sure that we have superior ingredients in the products that we sell. So we try to sell the best, the healthier, whether vegan, vegetarian, non-GMO, whether they're meat, but it's going to be lean meat or grass-fed, etc. We want to actually offer the community the best options and really make sure that they have access. And we do understand everybody's budget can't really afford everything. So
right, and that's what I was really gonna say. Amanda, and I want to ask Ethan this question too. How it's impacting him on his end. But it seems like retailers are now responding either, throughout the summer, raising prices, the fluctuation and the inconsistency between not only what was available, but the cost of the goods. Ethan, how is that impacting you on the back end?
Definitely. Well, like Amanda said, really the supply chain is a big piece. We just had a huge shortage of packaging, and that's been a big, hurdle for a lot of manufacturers in this country, getting glass bottles, glass jars to actually put our applesauce in. And so we were out right now, we're waiting like 3 weeks just to get an order in. And so that's created lead time challenges with, our customers. There also have been some positives with COVID because of everybody going online, people spending more time at home. So we did see a huge spike in sales really over the last 6 months. But again, there are a lot of challenges with the social distancing, not being able to go, in person to markets and push the product. So our digital strategy really had to step up. So again, I think COVID, it had a lot of negatives, but there was also some, positives that came out of it for us, where we learned, okay, there's some holes in our infrastructure, supply chain. We need to buy more bottles because now we have to buy bottles at double the price just to get them, because now they're raising everything. So yeah, just like Amanda spoke on. So.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, and I think what you're highlighting is, are you saying that like the digital trafficking has, and this period of people like really needing more food, wanting to have more of these goods has grown your business?
Definitely. So yeah, we've seen a huge spike with online activity, probably about 150% increase just with e-commerce. A lot of our customers are not going to the grocery store; they're just going online and then doing the free delivery option. So for sure, it's a huge push. I think.
And thank you for mentioning that, Ethan. Because Amanda, I want to ask you on the other end. Like specifically could you highlight, or detail how when the pandemic first started, was noted and almost over documented the amount of shortages that, Whole Foods, all of the national chains were receiving. And now, there seems to be this growth that's happening in the market, in spite of the fact that people are now relying on more contactless delivery methods to engage with retailers, or, simply having people like me, Postmates or Instacart people come and deliver their groceries to them. How has that impacted your business? That interaction with these digital services.
So what we were doing initially, because we had a website up, but we didn't have the e-commerce set up because the market facet started May 29th of last year. And as a micro business, it was just me, and I was getting some trainees to actually help in operations. And when I just brought on staff, but we've been able to set up an e-commerce site. And over the last couple of days, we're now on Uber Eats, so people could actually order our market products via Uber Eats. So this is actually newer for us, but we were doing deliveries ourselves at the beginning of COVID, but also too, so we won't lose a lot of our products. And I do have a nonprofit I started back in 2003. We do source along the food chain, so we will get healthy options. And weekly, we had like COVID care boxes and foods, and we deliver to the community since basically inception of last year throughout COVID. It's really important to make sure that community could survive this. That's really important to me. You take care of what God wants you to do, He'll take care of you. And that's a motto that I live by. So we have been consistently, without fail, on a weekly basis, making sure community had access to healthy foods.
Great. I really appreciate both of your time today. I know everyone's getting set for the debate. We're just getting started. Before we go, we could just wrap up. Ethan, we'll start with you. What are some things that you would say, not just people in the Black community, but we are focused on them, but, others, who are even trying to, just be active and be aware of not only how Black business owners who own food companies are moving during this time, but how should shoppers, go out in stores and find Black products, find other products like yourself, like maybe they didn't know about, we're just sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say a lot of it is really, it's right in front of you. A lot of these Black-owned companies, Black-owned products. I've seen a lot of people go on our website and say, hey, I didn't know you existed until I saw this popular Instagram page repost you. And there was a huge surge a few months ago because of, really with the George Floyd protests, with, really empowerment for Black-owned products and Black-owned businesses. So we've really been able to capitalize on that, but also be able to give back and others that they can be part of this as well, just by owning their own products and brands and going out there and being entrepreneurs. So.
Awesome. Amanda, so for you, hello, you guys still with me?
Yeah, there's a little feedback. Sorry, yours is
right.
Yeah. So it's kind of throwing.
I'm gonna try to.
Okay.
Well, we can hear you though.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Great. So, yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, Amanda, for you then, what So for you, Amanda, what's the future of your business, and how will you be engaging and providing more opportunities for people in DC or other Black?
Sure. So a couple things. What we're looking to do is grow and expand. So we're looking now. I
Business
definitely
owners,
Yeah, it's weird. I heard that too.
Yeah. So business ownership and property ownership. So we're looking at acquisition now. We have a property in Baltimore, so we're looking to expand there and also too in other locations in the city in Washington, D.C. So other places where they're underserved, whether we call it community desert, whether food desert, wherever, lack, we want to make sure the community have access to opportunity. So that's one facet. And in that too, we still would have more opportunity to grow more local Black minority brands. So we're looking to increase that. But in those spaces, we will have that kitchen and we have those growth spaces so we can create that ecosystem that we started to do and to help more people transition into owning their own business, owning their own property, owning their own container so they could, have one to address their health needs. So we're just looking to create more business owners, more property owners, and helping people to be able to control their food sources or have more connection to it.
That's awesome.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. We thank you both for your time. Again, like I said, I'll be reaching back out to both of you because I was having some technical issues on this side. But like I said, I'll be dropping a little video, kind of just promoting what our discussion will be about. And, if we could set up another time to do another record, I would love to do that. But we thank you guys for this first episode of The Blacklight. Tune in next week. We're going to be sitting down with another Black business owner that's working in the community to motivate and inspire. So we thank both Amanda and Ethan Holmes for joining us today. And, Amanda, did you have something to say?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. We are glad to be here to kick it off with you guys.
Definitely.
Of course. And, continue to lead in your community, continue to inspire. Thank you, everybody, for joining in tonight.
Thank you.